Dr. Christina Cook.
I'm not very good at things like this.
You gotta switch it on. Where does it turn on? Here,
I'll use this.
there you go.
I'm so glad to be here. Sorry about that. I was going to speak about soul and red soul, and I still am, but you'll see a little bit of a difference of a slide deck up here because the International Seed Nutrition Society partnered with RAIN in some research projects where we were able to look at products like soul and red soul, but also core, bend, and form. So today I'm going to focus a little bit on some of the results, but also break out into what soul and red soul do to your body, what benefits they can do, how they can help you, and also show you some of the long-awaited results that we've been looking for. I wore this outfit today, not just because I like different colors, but also because, you know, I've said this a lot to my children. I believe in rules, and I believe in paying attention and following societal norms and doing things like other people do. But if you live your whole life in black and white, you never experience color, right? You can read things about how healthcare is or what happens when you have cancer and follow what everyone else does. Or you can choose in life to kind of think outside the box and be a pioneer and do things that are different. That's exactly what Susie Quad did when she joined RAIN. She was from a world, and I think she shared this with you, of a lot of black and whites. When you do numbers, which I've spent some of my life doing numbers, as a doctor, I also am a nanobiotechnologist, which is really numbers. It's quantum physics. So it's a combination of taking bioscience engineering, numbers, chemicals, science, and really figuring out how to make things different. Susie came from a life, and Caleb, where they were doing numbers and doing things that were very beneficial. We all have to have taxes done. We all have to do our financials. But they left that world to go to a world that was very different. And she may have shared this with many of you, or you may not know this. She has a doctor that is a very famous medical doctor. He does a lot of different practices, and he's very well known in California and throughout the United States. So I'm sure she got some pushback when she joined RAIN, and she started talking about seed science and seed nutrition, and became a pioneer really in that area. Because when I think of when I joined RAIN 3 years ago on the science side, I know that there had been a lot of work that had been done before I ever was here. And I want to always acknowledge that. As a scientist, there's been very few things in my career I've actually worked on by myself. Everyone, when you do things in your life, you learn from other people's mistakes or your own. I've spent a lot of my life in failure. I'm used to difficult situations. As a research scientist, you fail a lot more than you succeed. And I've had people even question my education. That's probably one of the reasons that I got 2 PhDs and a master's degree and 2 postdoc degrees. Because as a female, I think there was part of that where I was trying to prove myself. Because I do think out of the box. I do think differently. And I wanted to be able to work with teams and scientists and organizations where I could create new things that would make a difference. And that's why at RAIN, it really became like a home to me. And I was able to live life in color. At RAIN, we don't have 1 product or 2 products. We have soul, we have core, and I call those the parent variations of rain. And then we have form and bend and pure and red sol, right? Very colorful. So when people say to me, why not just take one or two colors? Or one or two of the products? My answer is because everybody's body's different, and everybody chooses a different plan for their life. What I wore today, you did not wear today, but you look beautiful. And that's because you're a different person than me. And at Rain, that's what we have. We have the ability to choose from products that maybe aren't inside the box. It's not a black and white world of going to a doctor and saying, listen, I work at this company and we've got these seed-based products, and tell me what your textbooks say about these seed-based products. What answer are you guys going to get from that? Probably not a positive answer in some instances, but that's because a lot of what we do in life, and not just in the United States, but everywhere, is what we've learned and what we've been taught. My job here is to talk to you guys about different options with the formulas and the different ingredients that are in our formulas so that they can help you, help your lives and your families, and help others. So today, we are not going to just talk about Sol and Red Sol. We're going to talk about some of the results that we found in ISNS. And I am going to skip through all of this because ISNS is a society that I would love for everyone to join because it helps us learn about seed science. And our app is done. We are just getting the finalization. I'm making sure we can roll that out to everyone where you'll be able to go on the app and see what goes on with different seeds and how those seeds impact pharmaceutical products, how those seeds impact viruses, bacteria, different autoimmune disorders, and aging. We rolled this out for 1999, and we had a lot of people join the society. Then we took back that offer, but now we have reinstated that because of the Ukraine. When I went in to meet with Victor, Marina, and Julia, and the Ukraine team, stand up, you guys. I'd like to acknowledge you. I'm acknowledging them not because they're dear friends of mine that I love and because they are wonderful leaders, but I'm also acknowledging them because they're pioneers. What they do in Eastern Europe, and now throughout the world is make sure people understand about seed nutrition and seed science and how that can help their lives, just like two other leaders that are from Canada, Temple and Janet. Please stand up. I already acknowledged Susie, and I was going to also acknowledge Stephanie from Germany. We have these leaders, and there's many of you out there that are part of this leadership that are using the Seed Nutrition Society to help you grow your business because of the products. And I got to partner in this organization with Byron and Daniel and Russ and the manufacturer that manufactures these products. We really believed the people needed to understand seed nutrition. And we believed that they needed to be able to share with doctors and leaders what those seeds meant. It's taken us about 2 years to get to the point to have this app done and this database. Along with the app is a book that describes all the seeds and what happens and a lot of different articles. So one of the big things that happened though with this society is that Rain donated products. And it was really a combination of the executive team at Rain and the manufacturer that donated the products so that we could do a variety of studies. And right now we're in the middle of some of those studies. One of those studies that just got submitted was from Mexico, and Christina, who is in the front row, would you like to stand up? Yeah. She has submitted a study that we are starting that is with diabetes. We took 25 women that were on diabetes and 25 women that had diabetes. 25 of those are going to be on the Sol, 25 of those are not. And then there's 3 different excerpts of that. And so she has been able to bring from one of the top universities in Mexico a study that we have funded and that we are supplying product for, and are able to see what happens with women with metabolic disorders when they are on Sol or Red Sol versus not being on. Thank you. She also has done a dissertation where we're looking at this. We have 5 doctors in the United States currently that are doing different trials on everything from hormones to cardiovascular. One of the doctors that we just sent product to is looking at what happens with the skin. And then we also have a doctor that's looking at psoriasis that pertains to that. So if you guys have any doctors or any healthcare providers that are interested in receiving product and doing these studies, this is something that will really help us here at Brain. Because even though we have the third-party assays with Sol and Red Sol, which show what happens in our body, and even though you guys see the results, and you heard Susie talk about what was happening when people would take anywhere from 2 packets of Sol to 10 packets of Sol a day, we still need actual research that's documented through what we call the IRB, which is a board of an institute of the FDA in other countries that monitors how that research is done. Most of these MLM companies that are out here right now, they do have double-blind studies and different studies like that, but they don't go through an IRB. We are able to go through an IRB because there were patient registries that were approved through the FDA years ago that I actually submitted, where we're able to submit that, and that is presented to the World Health Congress. So that's huge for us. Why does that matter? And I'm going to go back to this again. That matters because in order for us to share these products to help people, there's a lot of doctors, institutions, and people you guys are going to talk to that they're going to say, where is the research? And you can present the third-party assay testing that we're going to talk about, but a lot of those doctors and hospitals are going to say, that's not enough. We want additional research. I don't want anyone in this room to ever think you have to have the research to sell. Because there's been many times in my career that before I actually had research data, I worked at pharmaceutical and biotech teams where they were able to do things that were off indication, that did not have research, based on the science information they had, drawing the conclusion of how it would help people. And that's really what we do have. You guys are pioneers in what you do and what you share to people. A lot of you guys send questions to me on how to take these products. And I love hearing Paul Hickey speak, and I love hearing Susie speak, and Victor Marina, and different leaders like Dino and Henrik when they speak about their personal experience and the experience of their teams. And I usually do not disagree with them, to be honest, because again, our bodies are all very different. When I talk about science and you guys hear someone in your groups basically disagree with maybe the science that I'm presenting, it's because if you were to Google one topic on an ingredient, you could find 1,000 different answers, right? My background is a combination of, you guys heard my background, of studying continuously how does this whole body work? And not just the body, but the mind, the spirit, the whole body. It impacts people. If you said to me, what is the #1 important thing in dealing with cancer or autoimmune disorders, my honest answer with you would be the energy around it. I know that sounds odd, but to a nanobiotechnologist like me, that is not odd. It's just quantum physics. It's energy, right? You can alter energy in your body and in the world by the things you think and do and say. That's why probably often, any of you guys that know me really well, or even have known me for a little while, you probably won't hear me say very many negative things. Now, if you ask me, do you think things, do you ever have negative thoughts? Yes. But if you ask me, well, why, if you have a negative thought, do you always seem like you're positive about any subject? My answer is because I understand that it's the energy around us and who we surround ourselves with, what we put into our bodies, what we think, what we feel, that matters. So when you ask me a question, for example, of how something will help diabetes or how soul can help breast cancer, it's not a simple answer to me. Do I know that we have research data from these reports that we have now that show that women with breast cancer that have been on Soul and Red Soul do significantly better? Yes. I know that the data we're getting from the doctors and the data we're getting from the field is showing that patients that are on our products and people on our products have significant better results. What that doesn't show us is what else is going on in their life. So when Susie talks about someone taking 10 packets of Soul and then they have a lump or a tumor or lung cancer or breast cancer and it goes away, her information, and when I hear it, I know she's telling the truth. But what I also know is there's a combination of things going on, and I'm sure she knows this too, in their life because they believe this is something that can help them. If you believe in something, it makes a significant difference. If you think there's not a solution and there's not an answer, that is going to impact your health care and impact your life. It's very simple to me when I meet people, and I think some of you guys have heard me talk about this. Every single person is different, and I find every person I meet, no matter who it is, I find them beautiful. Unless I meet someone that's an extremely negative person, and then I have a very hard time with it. Because I really know that we were all made in a beautiful image, and we are all composed of energy where we can do really great things. But I also know we can do really bad things. We get an option. So for example, Soul and Red Soul, when you put it into your body, you are going to, because of what's in those products, you are going to fuel the body with the energy it needs because of how they're made that will really help your body function in a positive way that can heal and prevent what's going on. But if your goal that day, after you take these products, is to do something negative, then that's just going to give you more energy to do something negative. So what I think we have to focus on as an organization and as a group of people is creating a positive dynamic where we can take these products and really help our lives and other people's lives. Did you know in 2017 the FDA and the American Alzheimer's Association approved DNA testing for early onset and regular Alzheimer's for anyone with Medicaid and Medicare? What that means is if you're in this country, they will allow you to get tested to see if you carry the APOE gene, which we know is the genetic marker that causes Alzheimer's. It doesn't mean you'll have Alzheimer's. It means you're genetically disposed. As I shared with you guys outside, I know I need to take that test. But you know what I also know? Both sides of my family had Alzheimer's. Both grandmothers and a grandfather died of Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. And they had cancer, and I've shared with you guys my family was riddled with disease. So I know I'm going to test positive for that. Guess what else has happened? Because I'm still in the nanobiotechnology department at Harvard, I just finished a class which is on tissue engineering. So we use nanobiotechnology in the biotech lab there. It's the #1 lab in the world in nanobiotechnology to design different things that can cure things. And my project that was assigned to me was Alzheimer's. So I had to go into the lab to try to design a solution for Alzheimer's. While I was working on this, I had contact with the Alzheimer's Association. Guess what one of the #1 products used from a nutritional perspective is for Alzheimer's? Turmeric. What's in turmeric? Bend has turmeric. Also, another thing that's being used productively and effectively for Alzheimer's is spirulina and kale, core. And then another thing that has been used successfully is red raspberry and black raspberry. Well, I thought that was very odd. I'm in a class, I'm studying how to develop a personalized plan using tissue engineering for Alzheimer's. Another thing that was discovered at the end of last year in Alzheimer's, we thought there were 3 factors that caused the genetic of Alzheimer's to present, and as scientists, we've been working for years to try to help that. We found out in animal studies at the end of last year that Alzheimer's actually can be prevented. And yes, there's 2 vaccines that we're working on for that scientists are. I'm not working on those vaccines right now. I worked with a company called Elan briefly on a vaccine and it failed. There's 2 vaccines. Through this process, they found out that one of the big causes of this is there's heavy metals in the environment that are then in the brain of animals and humans, that if you could actually get rid of the heavy metals and supplement the brain with positive ingredients like turmeric, spirulina, black cumin seed oil, things like that, then the ApoE gene and the Alzheimer genetic DNA actually will not present. So that means if you are someone that gets this DNA test, like for me, my thought process is I don't want to have this test, I know I'm going to test positive, but it's very comforting when I'm in a class with these kinds of individuals that I'm able to even research and spend the time more to find out the things we're doing at RAIN, the products we're working on, this is not just something that is not going to work. This is something everyone needs. And when you produce products in a cold press method and source those ingredients from the best places in the world and make those in the best manufacturing plant in the world, you're able to come up with things that will significantly change people's lives. Not for a day, not for a week, for a lifetime. Do you know the topic of conversation in the class that I've been in is simply about how we now can live to be however old we want to be. We can genetically use 3D printing and engineer organs. We can put a type of nanobiotechnology implant into each organ, and they can live indefinitely. For years, we tried to do things like this, and the body kept rejecting it. I worked at a company called Biogen IDEC. We did cloning. We tried everything. Every time we worked on things, yeah, we were able to come up with some human monoclonal antibodies that helped different diseases, but when we did the cloning of organs, they would end up breaking down. But now we have solutions. Those solutions are so expensive. If you want to be a bionic person that can live to be that old, then you better have hundreds of millions of dollars. Or you could use RAIN. You have a choice. I personally don't have hundreds of millions of dollars. God has blessed me with being a positive person and having a good life and giving me money in my lifetime. I'm very fortunate. I've had a combination of a career that's been in research, science, and business. So I feel very blessed. But I can tell you one of the biggest blessings is to come to a company like RAIN where I have been able to work with products that I know aren't products that can just help some people, but everyone. And I shared with you guys that I had a father that had head, neck, and throat cancer. It was throughout his whole body. It was stage 4 advanced in all the lymph nodes. And that was in 2011, I think. And they gave him 1 to 3 months to live. He's been fine until about a week ago. And so about a week ago, we had a report that something had come back. My dad has been on Soul and Core and now Red Soul and Pure and Bend because, I'm his daughter, so he takes the products. So he has to listen to me. But they've helped him significantly. Like the doctors have said the whole time, this is a miracle. We've never seen this happen. Where is the cancer? It's just gone. And I was able to work with my father with some investigators, a bunch of trials with some of the top doctors in this country as well in the beginning, but really it's been these products. He's detoxed his body with a couple of other ingredients and then used these products. He was not even upset when he called me. He said, they found this place. Christy didn't tell me what to do. I said, you have to take 4 boxes of Soul, or 4 packets of Soul a day, and 3 to 4 packets of Red Soul, and 2 of Core and 2 of Bend, and drink Pure in your water throughout the day. So it's funny, I can call me a day ago and he was telling me how good that he feels. He actually looks great. He feels incredible. And so the doctors, when they actually found this place, they, told him that they do think he will be okay, but that he explained to them what he had been taking. They said, well, maybe you need to take more, and that's what he's doing. So the reason I wanted to share all of this with you all is I bet on any given day, I get anywhere from a couple hundred questions to thousands of questions. I really do. And I've really been shocked actually, because I know in some instances, in some areas of the country, the numbers have been down as far as use of the product. In some areas, it's gone up. Like we go to Ukraine, Mexico, and it's just flourishing, right? It's growing really rapidly. I happen to be in a position at the company where I'm over the science for the company, so a lot of questions get directed to me. And I don't always have all the answers, and sometimes, usually for me, it's not a simple answer. Because truly, when you have a question for me, it's not, I have to know more about you and what's going on in your life, and not just that you have diabetes, for example. Because again, I'm just going to take this back to a simple topic. What I'm wearing and what you're wearing. We're different people. The insides of our bodies are different. But here's something I do know as a scientist and as someone that's doing research on these products. The results that we have seen in ISNS are significant within 30 days. But what's even more significant are the results that we're getting in ISNS after 90 days to 2 years. If you ask me, are you getting better results with Soul and Red Soul than anything else? My answer to you is, we actually have incredible results, and you're right, we have more results with Soul and Red Soul because we've done more research with those 2 products. But what we're seeing is we have the best results when people are taking all of the products. And I'm not just saying that I don't make money off sales in this company. I'm telling you guys that as a scientist. When you guys ask me, when do I take Soul? Here's my answer every time. At least, and this is now after the results that I'm saying, at least 30 minutes after you take the Pure. And then if you say to me, how do you really know about Pure? I did get to work on Pure with the manufacturer. I was very fortunate. And, I did not have a lot of time to do that, as Myra knows. It was a very short time, but we were able to come up with a product. At first we had one type of bacteria, and then we ended up going to a proprietary blend that had hundreds of ICFs and IBUs in that blend, as well as the other ones. But we know now that if you take Soul before you take these products, because it puts the good bacteria in your stomach, it will help the rest of the products work better.
You mean Pure? Take Pure first?
Pure, sorry. If you take Pure. And if you ask me why, your GI is connected to your heart and to your brain. So another thing that we have found in the Alzheimer's studies that we're doing is that people that take a probiotic and a prebiotic and they've been diagnosed with the APO gene, that they're going to get Alzheimer's, it can be prevented. If they take that and other ingredients, we never knew that before. If you would have asked any scientist if you could prevent Alzheimer's, the answer would be no. That information came out at the end of last year. January of 2019, there was an article, I could send it, we have a product meeting once a month, I can actually present that and send that forward to the field, which talks about that. How many of you guys in this room care about that information?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
I hope when you leave here, you learn something that will help your family. If not, I failed. Because that's important to me, and the reason I think it's important to you is if you live to be 140 years old, but you can't remember your name or your children, does it matter to you? Because it doesn't matter to me. If I don't know you and can't help you because I've lost my mind, it doesn't mean I'm any less of a person, but it means I've lost who I am. We've got to make sure that we take products that help our minds and bodies and everything inside of us detox so we can have a better quality and quantity of life. So now that we know that you can actually take a test, your insurance company will pay for it. It's going to tell you whether you have that gene. You know what's great about this is I don't have to be scared. I don't have to hide, which is what I do sometimes when I don't want to know something. I pretend like it's not there. I've done that many times in my life. I don't have to do that because I know there's solutions. And I don't just know that there's some solutions, I know we have those. I can't tell you that every person that takes our product will not get Alzheimer's or dementia. But what I can tell you are these facts. That there is a way to know whether you carry the gene for dementia and Alzheimer's, and that we now know that if you can detox the brain and get rid of the toxins and put the positive ingredients into the body to protect the neurals of the cells and the neurotransmission of the cells, you have a much more likelihood of it never even developing. The problem is once it's developed, it's harder to deal with. And I'm not saying you can't, because I'm like Susie. I know that you can deal with these different things if you take a lot of the product. As a scientist, I can never make claims of what our product will do. But here's what I will say, and I trademarked and I did copyrights on this phrase. You can cure the cause or cure the causes of why you're getting things. You don't need to make a claim. What you need to do is you need to go into your body and try to cleanse it with things like core and supplement it with things like salt and red salt. So if you say, well, these are just products that I can go get at the store, no, you can't. You simply can't. They're manufactured in a cold press way, but when the manufacturing is done, in Seoul, they took the black cumin seed and the powder, and white Chardonnay, and the black raspberry, and they manufactured it in a way where it has catalytic properties where it can go throughout the body, so it can impact the different areas of the body. So if you're well and you're not sick, and you ask me, how much of this product do I need a day? Well, you may only need one packet a day. But my other answer to that question, because I want to be more specific about that answer rather than just saying one packet a day. The other answer I have to that is, well, how much toxin do you have in your body? What have you been exposed to? And how much of a potential do you have in your body to get a disease because you have a genetic component in your body that can present to make you have cancer later? So when you take a packet of salt and core, if you ask me, as the Chief Science Officer of this company, what happens when I take this and when should I take it, it depends. I agree with Susie. If you can take this at night and your body can regenerate when you're on this product, then even better. But there's the reality of life that we each have. So for me, I'm a mother of 4, I travel a lot, I actually do work a lot, and I sometimes only get up from my desk once or twice a day to even go to the bathroom. And sometimes I will sit down at my desk and I have not eaten, and I will just take the Reign products during the day. And I actually feel great when I do that. Now I'm hungry by dinner. And then there's other days, I'm just gonna be honest, because I feel like if I'm not, then I've lied to you guys and I won't do that. There's other days where I eat bad food during the day. That's not good for me. It's a joke in my home. My kids will say, we're going to tell people that you ate that. We watched your video and you don't act like you eat that kind of food. So I don't want to lie. There's days, but you know what? I find comfort in the fact that I'm human and I'm not perfect. But I'm honest and I do what's best for my body. Not constantly. I wish I did. I don't live to eat. I don't wake up in the morning and think, what am I going to eat? And this is going to make my day better. I actually do try to eat to live. I tell people this, you can either choose the food because it just tastes good or because it's going to make your life better. And when you take this food, because it's a type of food, but it's in a way that's composed all of the vitamins and minerals into the ingredients, so when you take it, it's being distributed. You couldn't go buy enough black cumin seed oil or raspberry produced in the same format to put in your body. And I know there's a lot of companies out there, but they don't have Sol and Red Sol. Yeah, there's resveratrol, and I think resveratrol is very good for you. But there's components of resveratrol in what we have. Because when you take these packets, they really are going into the body to support your eyes, your mind, your colon, and everything in your body. But if you take them without making sure that your GI is okay, then there's a chance it will not be distributed throughout your body in the best way possible. So I feel bad because before we got these results, I actually did not tell you all that. But now that we have them, and I worked on prebiotics and probiotics in my career for a company called UCB, so I understand how important it is with the flora and the fungus and the bacteria in your stomach. But I didn't even think of telling you guys that you had to take this. I did think of telling you guys if you get a virus or a bacteria or a fungus, this will help you. Did I tell you guys when we launched Pure that it helped with Alzheimer's and dementia? No. So see, I don't know all the answers. I just keep studying to find the answers, and then I'm shocked. And you know what my first thought is every time I find something? Oh my goodness, I didn't tell people that. I didn't help people with that. So if you can do that, that's really how you should take the product. And it depends on you how much of the product you take. Another question that I get that I do want to make sure I'm always honest, people say, could I ever be allergic to black cumin seed? Well, yeah. There's people that can be allergic to anything. But another question, you go even further into that, can I take black cumin seeds when I have diverticulitis, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis? You need to make sure that the GI is safe before you put ingredients in there if you have those. Black cumin seed can really help, and the oil. The way we manufacture it, because it's not the actual seed, it is, but we take the oil and the powder out of it because of how it's compressed in the cold press method. You want to make sure that your stomach is okay and the floor is okay. So sometimes you want to go back, if it's not working at first with Crohn's, diverticulitis, and everything else, any of your GI issues, if you're having problems taking any of these products, you want to make sure that you are taking Pure for a week to 2 weeks to get the body ready. If it's working already, stay with it. But there's going to be some people that actually need the probiotic in order for these to really work more effectively. Okay, so here's one of the questions that we ask as it pertains to Sol, and we went back and we also asked about Red Sol. But when you think about Sol as it pertains to assisting you with the overall health and wellness, do you think of it as something you need or don't need? As you guys can see, most of the people, and some of these people were from Reign, some of them were not. Usually in the doctor's offices, they've never experienced it. And what we did with the doctor basic studies, not the 4 doctors or the study we're doing in Mexico, but the other doctors that we're working with, we have them answer for the patients, and then we have the patients answer. And we're doing the 30, 60, 90, out to 2 years so we can see what happens. Most of the patients that the doctors are seeing are naive, which a naive patient in the study means they've never taken the product, which I really like. But they explain to the patients, which is what I really like about the studies that we're doing, what ingredients are the product and what they can do. And this is what we found. They felt like they really needed it. We know in the United States and internationally, when the World Health Congress and when your different societies look at putting something into hospitals, healthcare, and providers, and I want that because I want your doctors to be educated and to tell their patients, this is something good that everyone needs for prevention and wellness, right? You want them to be able to say that. We found out that when we looked at the ability for those to improve, it was over 70%. And what this slide means, if you can't see behind the scenes, the data that we're publishing, and some of you guys may have seen the data that the papers that I've written so far in ISNS about black cumin seed, oil, and salt. But we found there was an up to 90% success rate after 90 days with how people looked and how they felt compared to before they took these products. And that pertains to Sol, but it went up even higher when they were on all of the products. Does that matter to you all when you hear those results? Yes. I know it matters when you feel the results, but as some of you all have said to me, even at this meeting, I don't feel differently when I take that. And you guys have heard me say this to you many times, you may not feel it. Because everybody's body's different. Some people have a body that's very extroverted inside. And if you put something in the body, you're gonna know what's happening. Other people have a body that they simply, it's quiet. It's introverted, and that means it doesn't talk a lot. You don't know. That's why when you get cancer or you have a heart attack, there are many people that never knew until they got the diagnosis, whereas there's other people that felt sick for 6 months. Your bodies are different. So you can't really rely on someone else for how your body is. That's one of the issues we have with prescription drugs. I don't know if you guys know this. We do all these dosing studies before we go to the FDA when we work on drugs. But the problem is everybody's body's different. So you have to basically go with what the most standard answer is. So if you ask me, what is your standard answer about Sol and Red Sol? My standard answer is if you want wellness and prevention and to be able to support your body and make sure that you can have the best quality and quantity of life and look good and be able to think, you want to take at least 1 packet a day, preferably after Pure. And you want to make sure that you break it out if you can every 5 hours. Because the peak plasma level of black cumin seed oil is about at the 5-hour mark in most people, and that means it works the most effectively. If you only want to take 1 packet, then just divide it up. And that's what they do in Ukraine, and that's one of the reasons they've grown it so much. They would do a tablespoon. But they always, from the beginning, did it every 5 hours. Or 6 hours. They knew that was kind of their standard message to everyone. So it's something that I think is very important. Again, let's go back to the reality. My life, your life. That may not happen. Temple, you may get on a plane and you know you're going to forget you can't carry that packet, so you just take the whole packet. Stephanie, you're flying all over. You don't know what's going to happen, but you make sure that you have it. It's better if you don't know if you can do it every 5 hours, then at least just make sure you do it in the morning or at night. But if you're not feeling well, or you're exposed to toxins, you're flying, you're doing all kinds of things like this, and you want to take Sol and Red Sol at least 1 packet a day. If you said to me, but they're the same, no, they're not. They're very similar, and they're both very important. You need both of the products. Well, how are they different, Christina? Well, Red Sol has more of the oil at a higher concentration, and it has the red raspberry. Red raspberry is known to help people with their heart, with their hormones, with metabolism, and with weight loss, because of the ketones. It's also known to be able to help people with sexual dysfunction, and things like that. Does that mean black raspberry doesn't? No, it does as well. It just works in a different way. That's why some of you like Sol better and some of you guys like Red Sol better, because everyone's different. And some of you guys are going to take a while to adjust to Red Sol because there's more of the oil in the Red Sol. And I've had people tell me, well, it tastes different, it hurts my stomach, I don't like that face temple. Because it's black cumin seed oil, I'm just here to tell you guys, it's not something that tastes fantastic. But you want to make sure that you put it into your body and that you let your body get used to it before you just discard it. You really do, because what's more important? Having a healthy mind, living a life where that you're able to have the energy and able to fight things and have the best life possible, or something tastes fantastic right away. I promise you, once these products start impacting your life, you'll love the taste. And I'm going to talk about core more tomorrow, but core is something that I absolutely hated at first. I knew I needed it. It took me 6 to 8 weeks to get used to it. I got sick every day, and I finally got used to it. Now, some people, and there's one person here or two, had a reaction because some people cannot take chlorella, milk thistle, kale. They just can't. It's like some people can't eat seafood. It's rare, but it can happen. But you want to be able to try these products, get your body used to the products, and then let them help your body. And one of the things that really kind of blew me away about the studies, and I don't think I'm going to have time to show all of the results at this meeting, Bend was found to be very significant in how it helped people not just feel as far as pain and inflammation, but how they looked. It actually, with the combination of Bend and Sol, had the highest ability from the studies we have so much when those two were used together to really have people say that they looked and felt better. Now, we recently started looking more at the Red Sol because the initial markers as far as the Red Sol being used on the face and taken after a 30-day period were very high, but at the time when we started these studies, people had not been taking Red Sol for a long time, and we just ran out of product, so we had to get more product in so that we could test it even more. Another thing about Sol, and that really was not something that we were planning on looking at, but we had results over 70%, that it improved the way their joints, waist, and shoulders felt. Well, that's not what I thought. I thought it was going to be Bend. And Bend did as well. But this is something that we noticed repetitively in the studies with Sol. If you said to me, but that's not why you guys made Sol or Red Sol, here's my answer. The company made these products to make people's lives better. We made these products so you could live life in color, so that you could live to be 100 and enjoy your families, so we could support your bodies. I never have had the opportunity to work on products where that was the focus. And it's very enlightening to me to be able to have the opportunity to be in wellness and prevention and see technology and be able to bring it to the world. If you say, well, there's other seed-based companies, that's true. There's other companies that use oils and flowers and seeds, but it's the way these are manufactured and the way they're made and brought to market and sourced that no one else has. And when you see the product profile on the back of the labels, that's not the whole picture. Let me explain that. If you ask me what my name is, my name's Christina Ron Cook. But that's not really who I am, and that's not everything that's inside of me, is it? There's a lot of Christinas in the world. There's a lot of Marys. There's a lot of, there's a lot. But what's inside of me is what matters. That's what changes the world, right? Our products were manufactured in a way, and produced in a way, and sourced in a way, preserved in a way so that we could deliver ingredients into the body to protect the cells at a cellular level. And I have to be careful how I talk about this because, again, we can't make claims, but really to surround that cell so that you don't let bad things like viruses and bacteria in. And when they do get in, because life happens, stress happens, accidents happen. Our products help get those things out and help your body function more effectively. And in life, that's what will help you get to the next level. I don't worry when things go bad because they can be fixed. But in order to be fixed, it has to be a 365-day-a-year plan. It's not a one-day fix in life, in anything. When marriages fail, when relationships with children fail, or parents, it doesn't get fixed overnight, but you just don't give up. You just try to step in and make it better and figure out solutions. When you take these products, give your body a chance to make it work. And then talk to the people that are coming in under you to explain this to them so they understand. And no, I don't have I think I went to school for so long at some of the best universities because I wanted to be able to say to people, I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I wanted to be able to help people. And in order to do that, I had to understand as much as I could and to be able to discuss as much as I could with people. So now, here we are, 20 years from when I really graduated first from college, almost 20 years. And I never understood until recently that the mind and the heart and the stomach and the whole system were really important. So I never understood until a couple of weeks ago that you could be diagnosed with Alzheimer's and not have to have a vaccine, but there was a natural approach you could take to fight off Alzheimer's disease and dementias. And while I never have talked about this publicly, it's always been a concern of mine. My grandmother, I'm 50 years old, so my grandmothers both have master's degrees. My grandmother had a master's in statistics and died of Alzheimer's disease. I don't want that to be me, and I don't want it to be you. So when you ask me what's important about these products, it's important that you take them and that you start down a path that you're really helping your bodies. And yes, the money will come, but also the improvement in your entire life will come, and your ability to spend time with your children on the ice hockey field, to be able to go and do interior decorating or sing. It's there. But you need to be the best person you can be so that you can help your life and you can help others. So I do want to run really quickly through some of the other things about Soul and Red Soul. Again, we saw something we were not expecting. We keep seeing results. We have, I think, 500 reports right now, and I think 300 of those are around the osteoarthritis and pain. And we do know, as you guys know, that Soul can help with pain, right? But again, I'm expecting all of that to come from the Bend side, and we actually found it also on the Soul side. So in that, we did find improvement in the overall complexion. Many of you guys know with Soul and Red Soul, you can put it on your body. I use it at night when I put it on my face when I'm in the bath. And I actually have a combination of, I use Soul, and I take it from the packet that I use that day. I save a little bit. I do the Soul, and then the next day I will do the Core, and then the next day I will do the Red Soul. And I just started trying the Bend because of some of the reports that we got. And I see significant differences in my skin. And I probably shouldn't talk about Botox on stage, but I have done Botox. I hate that people film me because then everyone in my hometown comes and sees me at games and says something I said on stage. But anyway, but I have not recently because I haven't needed to. I really see a significant difference in how I feel. I still think I need to lose weight, but I also give my body the ability to be, what? I give my body the ability to help itself, and then I support myself again mentally and love myself no matter what I look like. And I want you guys to do it too. But the products are very important, and don't just take the results of the studies. You guys know the third-party essays. Red Soul showed a 79.9% ability to basically anti-aging. That's huge. You know, I don't even have to say anything else when I tell people that, because here's the thing. Would you like to age 80% faster today, or would you like to slow down by 80%? And I'm so vain. This is how I know I'm vain. I do not want to age 80% faster. And how lucky are we that we are able to take a product that we know can slow that down. And I don't care if you're 5 years old or you're 50, it matters. Because as your cells age, that's what causes decay in the body. That's what's caused our earth to have problems. It's exposed to toxins and it ages, and then our bodies are not able to fight things. Our earth is not able to fight things. So we can't control the overall environment, but what we can control is what we put in our bodies on the inside and the outside. So it's very important that we do that and that we remain dedicated to it. You've got to love yourself. And this is something I said when I was in Ukraine. I had everyone close their eyes. Can you guys do that for me? Close your eyes. Even like Amberman. Close your eyes. I want you to imagine the person that you love the most in your life, or the people. And I want you to imagine, you don't know how long they're going to be here, so you tell them that you love them. And now, really feel that love, and that you don't know if you're going to see them again, and this is your chance to tell them. Now open your eyes. You can't cry because I cried. Don't forget to tell yourself that every day. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, because it matters. They matter, you matter. And these products matter because they'll help your life. Thank you.
Woo!